Fhs Season Tickets.
Welcome back to another episode of FHS Season Tickets. I'm Michael.
I'm Christian, and we'll be going straight into cross country. They came out fourth place of their most recent meet, and now they're going to regionals. Connor Cobain placed 14th, Elliot Kaufman placed 13th. So congratulations.
Yeah, and also the boys soccer team advanced to districts. They won their sectional, beating Buckeye 4-1, a team that they lost 3-0 in the regular season. It's a fantastic victory for them. Jack Solomon with 2 goals, Elian Bendo with a goal, and Jared Wilkinson with a free kick goal. So we had 2 positive stories. Now we're going into 2 more negative stories about Fairview sports. Peplin, what happened to the Fairview football team looking for the conference title?
They started off, Columbia went up 21 points to Fairview's 0, but Fairview showed they had some heart. They scrapped some points out. They got a pick 6. Who was it that picked it up?
Jack Provenza with a pick 6.
Yeah. And then John McCoy for a touchdown.
John McCoy had the first touchdown.
And then second half, complete disaster.
Couldn't stop Brandon Coleman on the ground.
I mean, who could stop that dude, honestly?
The volleyball team ended their year losing in straight sets to Bay in the sectional championship. So, fortunately, they ended their year on a pretty sour note, losing 3 straight games in straight sets. And that's all the Fairview sports that we have for the week.
Yeah. Big night for Cleveland. We got the first game of the World Series tonight. Cleveland, the Indians versus Chicago Cubs, and then we got the opening of the NBA season, the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks. It's a big day, especially for the Cavs, since their first game of just winning the championship against the Warriors. What do you think, Mike?
I think the Cavs this year, they're going to have the target on their back, just like the Golden State Warriors will have the target on their back. And I'm excited to see the super team of the New York Knicks. I've been making too many jokes about that. I really need to stop, but I feel like that'll be a running joke all year long about Derrick Rose calling the Knicks the super team.
Super team, yeah.
But I do think the Cavs get done opening night. I think it might be a little bit closer than some are expecting. Might start off a little slow. Interested to see how Iman works in at backup point guard and if we might have to trade him sometime later in the year for a more natural backup point guard, and how Kay Felder is going to do with the absence of Matthew Dellavedova. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. What are you looking forward to in this game?
I'm looking forward to. We only got a couple new pieces. Kay Felder. Completely forgot the
Mike Dunleavy.
Yeah, Mike Dunleavy. Yeah, they're not some big additions, but they're gonna make us more solid. And we lost since it's a new year and we just won the chip. We shed all the expectations of everyone. So everyone K Love can relax now. He wasn't playing like K Love was the first 2 years at all. So he can relax and play more calm and efficient. And it's more calm and collected for this Cavaliers team. I'm expecting big things from them, and I want to see how this New York Knicks team does against the Cavaliers after being called a super team.
It'll be interesting. Yeah. But then also in the World Series, Game 1, Corey Kluber going up against John Lester for the Chicago Cubs should be very exciting. Expecting a hard-fought series between both teams. Baseball, it's just a weird sport, to be honest. Yeah. The different each team, the margin of error in baseball is so small, and the gap between the good teams and the bad teams are so small. No team's really ever going to be a huge favorite in a baseball series because 7 games and one little error or hit will decide a series. Yeah. I'm really excited for Game 1, hoping John Lester pitches worse than he has in previous World Series games. He's 3-0 with a .64 ERA. Hopefully the Indians can get some runs early. The key for the Indians this series is to get the lead going into the bullpen and then just have guys like Brian Shaw, especially Andrew Miller, and then Cody Allen finishing the deal off. That's really the only clear advantage I see the Indians having over the Chicago Cubs, and that's this bullpen. Christian, any quick thoughts about the Indians?
No. I just think this is going to be an extremely interesting series because none of these teams have, or both these teams haven't won a World Series in a while. So I'm just thinking it's going to be interesting to watch and it's going to be extremely fun.
Yeah, a reporter before the ALCS and NLCS said that if the Indians and Cubs met, it would be the most media-friendly World Series of all time. Kind of two lovable underdogs, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are talking about the Cubs curse, but no one's really talking about the Indians curse. Mm-hmm. They haven't won it since 1948. That's a long time. That's second longest in the MLB behind the Chicago Cubs, who's at over 100 years, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But no one's talking about the Indians' drought. I don't know, maybe that plays into our advantage and that the Cubs are the story.
Yeah. It's
We'll
definitely
see
the
how it
most
plays out.
friendliest. It's not like the Cavs versus the Warriors where we're just like
Bad
bashing
blood
it.
between two teams.
Yeah.
And also neutral fans, like if you're fans of like, let's say the Mariners or a fan of the New York Mets, maybe you don't hate the Cubs and the Indians as much as you would hate like some teams like the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Dodgers even perhaps too. So should be a fun World Series.
Yeah.
World Series are usually pretty fun. Hopefully it goes 6 or 7 games so we can get more than 2 home games in Cleveland, because the more events that go on downtown, just the better downtown's going to be, the more alive it's going to be. And now we're going to jump into our NFL things, and I'm joined with Nick and also some students from Syracuse. So would you guys like to introduce yourself?
My name is Mark Eckenrod. I'm a sophomore sport management major here at Syracuse University, and I write for Larry Brown Jr. NFL.com.
I'm John DeLabra. I'm also a sophomore sport management major here at Syracuse.
My name is Keith Brewer. I'm also a sophomore sport management major at SU, and I write for FingerLinksPoint.com.
Okay, and we're going to start off talking about the NFL. First thing we have to talk about, the horrible Sunday night football game, tie game 6-6, Seahawks versus Cardinals. Nick, what was your first thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking that that's just a show of like the defensive giants you have with Seattle and Arizona. I mean, the offenses were playing poorly, but I mean, do you think that this is a show of that these two teams are less of what they have been, or are these guys head and above? Will they be able to shut down other offenses when they play like Dallas? Will they be able to terminate that offense? What do you think?
I'm not too sure. I think that this was more a case of the defenses being good than the offenses being bad. I'm going to put that over to you guys. First question, do you guys think that it was more about the defenses being good or the offenses being bad?
Yeah.
And also, do you think this was a good game to watch? Like Skip Bayless said it was a great game to watch. Or are you in the Shannon Sharp case where this was a horrible football game to watch?
Yeah.
Well, it was also going off of Skip's Twitter rants about how men fight their guts out all game and then lose from a kicker who's not athletic. I kind of agree with that, but still think you need the kicker. At the same time, I know there's pretty elite defenses, but I was really surprised to see 6-6 with both those offenses, Fitz, David Johnson, obviously Russell Wilson on the other side, but I do think those are elite defenses.
I think it's kind of gone in stride with what we've seen on most of the primetime football games. It's been a lot of kind of poor showings in terms of the Monday night games, the Sunday night games, the Thursday night games. I guess it's kind of going where the viewers are going down for the NFL too, so it's kind of a concern. But in terms of last night's game, I think it was more about the defenses. I mean, when you think of perfect defenses in the NFL, you're thinking the Broncos, the Seahawks, the Cardinals. They're right there at the top. And it's not what the viewers technically want to see, but I think it's still an aspect of the game that's fun to watch as well.
No, I mean, Seattle struggled on offense for a few games now, so I wasn't surprised. I was surprised, however, with the Cardinals, with the way David Johnson's been playing and the fact that Cam Chancellor is out. I was expecting it to be more high-scoring, but I don't think it was a poor game to watch. I mean, definitely people are talking about it and paid attention to it, so I don't think it's bad for viewership.
I think this is a showing of the lackluster offenses that have been showing up in the NFL recently, and that also could be an indication of why viewers are down. No star quarterbacks to really keep up with. Down
Tom
year
Brady.
for the Panthers.
That's it.
Yeah, Tom Brady. But that's honestly, at this rate,
It's an anomaly.
at this rate, success is you're almost like getting bored with how good the Patriots have been. So I think that's showing why viewership's down, the limited offense, and last night was a perfect example of what's been happening in the NFL recently.
Yeah, totally. And I was actually super excited for this primetime football game. I was like, finally, two good teams on primetime.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
been sick and tired of seeing the Bills versus the Jets on Thursday
I
night
know.
football, and I was excited.
I was excited for that game too.
The one's a
We got
Bills
some-
fan. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
we're Browns fans, and look at what they're doing right now. So you can roast us coming up.
It's a rough one.
It's a bad year.
I accidentally roasted his team. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
But the next thing we're going to be jumping into, the Vikings versus Eagles game. Eagles absolutely dominated the Vikings offensive line. Just so much pressure on Sam Bradford. So many turnovers. At one point in this game, there was 5 turnovers and 0 points scored. That is just absolutely crazy. Do you guys think the Vikings were a bit overrated, and do you still think they're a legit Super Bowl contender? I certainly do, but a lot of people have been hopping off their bandwagon after this game.
Yeah, I was expecting this type of game from the Vikings. They're kind of bend not break defense throughout, and I was thinking that they would at least get at least one game. The offense wasn't really gonna. I feel like going up against this Eagles team, they had something to prove. And I just don't. I think I was expecting this. The Vikings are still a really good team, really good playoff team. I think they were a bit overrated though, in the fact of like a top 20 defense of all time, like I've been seeing. So, what do you guys think?
I think from what I saw in that game, I got to see most of it. I think it's definitely more about how well the Eagles defense played than it necessarily said about like how the Vikings showed out. I still personally, I'm very much on the Vikings bandwagon this year. I love their defense. I love their team. I think they've looked good. He hasn't looked great, but he's looked good enough to carry them with that defense. But I think it was just a testament to how well the Eagles defense played, and they really just got up on Sam Bradford. And the Eagles defense has been pretty good so far, but they were excellent in that game. And I think I don't think the Vikings are overrated. I think they're a top team in the NFL, but I think people just really came to play. And it's just, you can give one to the Vikings. I think they'll come back.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Vikings have a pretty elite defense. Offense, I think they were kind of overproduced and overrated at the same time. Bradford doesn't have a ton of weapons around him. But like you said, the Eagles' defense, as being a Bills fan, I can attest that Jim Schwartz, a great defensive coordinator, he's taken 2 of Buffalo's backup corners from their defense and turned them into starters on a team that was supposed to be a terrible defense this year. So the Eagles' defense has really been a big part of their success.
I'm not buying into the Vikings. I'm still not. I don't think they're going to win the division. I'm taking Green Bay to win it still, and I think Vikings will be close playoff team wild card. It's going to be. I still don't have them in my playoffs. I think they're overrated, but we'll see what happens. I'm just not. I don't think they have it offensively without Peterson there. I like Stephon Diggs, but I still don't think Bradford's going to get done with the end.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you more, but I do think that they're going to make the playoffs. But I don't think a Sam Bradford-led team can carry that team into the playoffs, especially with how good. I mean, their defense is playing well.
Joe Flacco
but
did it.
When they're Joe Flacco's a different story though. He has that talent there. He just doesn't seem like he cares enough. That was in a contract year too.
Sam Bradford
he was trying to get
the
that
number
money.
1 overall pick.
Sam
though.
Bradford, that he hasn't shown like he could be. Flacco at least Fluco can show it at times. I just wait. Do we got a Ravens fan?
I don't know about
Fluco.
Don't worry. We're gonna be roasting the Celtics soon too. So
Wait, are you guys? Wait, which one of you is a Ravens fan? The guy in the middle?
is the one in the middle the Ravens fan?
Which one's the Ravens fan? What's your name again?
My name's John.
John. What do you think about Joe Flacco, real quick? Is he a fluke?
Well, I think a
Super
lot
Bowl?
of it so far has been there's only so much Joe Flacco can do in the passing game when you have no running game.
Yeah, okay.
And Flacco has been very good in play action in past years, and when we have no running, we had 6 rushing yards yesterday. Okay. You can't have a passing game with 6 rushing yards. It's just not something you can do. And so I mean, and Flacco's, he played hurt this weekend, so it wasn't a great showing from him. But I think.
So was he well worth the money? Back when he won that.
I mean, you're paying your quarter. Tannehill's getting paid.
Yeah.
Dalton's getting paid. And I still think Flacco's better than these guys, personally.
Yeah.
And you're gonna end up paying your quarterback anyway. So I
feel it. Lock up that. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to lock up your quarterback.
Yeah, lock up the quarterback.
You're never really going to see a quarterback go big in free agency unless it's like mutually agreed, kind of like Peyton Manning. Pretty much quarterbacks are there for life.
You basically, at this point, you get your franchise quarterback in the draft. It's hard to find one elsewhere. So and you lock up your guy, especially when he comes off a Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
We'll talk about the Browns for a second, me and you. And they can also roast us for talking about the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
They fought well with Cincinnati Bengals. I have been praising Kevin Hogan on the show without even knowing he was on the Browns roster, and then he came in, looked really good for about a drive, then looked really bad the rest of the game. The Bengals got back to what they were doing. I like the Bengals as a football team. Have
AJ
liked
Green,
them
Jeremy Hill.
the past 4 years. AJ Green did work for my fantasy team.
I had both Jeremy Hill and AJ Green on my fantasy team, so that was nice.
That's pretty impressive. I do think that the Bengals are going to be competing for the division title. Who do you think is going to win the division title first off, Nick? And then I'll go over to them.
Yeah, I definitely think Cincy is. They have all the pieces every year. They just need to stop choking in the playoffs. I do think they're going to clinch the division title. But again, on the Browns, speaking on the Browns, we're Cleveland fans. We have to do it. We're located in Cleveland. It's hilarious to me that Hugh Jackson is getting considered to be doing a great coaching job. I've seen top 3 coaching job in the NFL, and we're
find that a
winless.
bit ridiculous, but I like Hugh Jackson.
I know, but he's letting this talentless team compete with like these great teams in the NFL, or not. I mean, not great, but I mean he's competing with no talent. So
yeah,
it's hard to
the
coach
worst
without
team
talent.
in the NFL is competing with below average teams.
Exactly. So I just think that the Browns just tank this year like they've been doing. I mean, I don't know if it's quite a tank. They just can't win games, but just lose this year and just rebuild in the draft. Hopefully, this new ownership can do wonders in the draft and get back to winning that we haven't seen since like the 19
before we were alive.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have the Bengals just squeaking out the division over the Ravens and Steelers. I'll go over to you guys. Do you guys have win the AFC North?
The Steelers are going to win the AFC North. Ben's coming back, and he's going to play back to his level. We only have 2 more games with Landry, hopefully, if everything turns out right. One of the games is against the Ravens, so I think we're going to squeak one out there. The AFC North has been depressing this year. Usually it's one of the best divisions. It has not played up to its level this year, but I still have Pittsburgh winning the division.
I mean, I think it's the AFC North's one of the more interesting storylines in football, along with the AFC West in terms of who's going to end up squeaking it out, who's going to get into the playoffs. Because the Bengals and Ravens sitting at 3-4. I think ultimately they're good enough coaches where they're going to be sitting at about 8-8, 9-7 at the end of the year. And depending on how the Steelers can hold their own when Ben's out, and they're going to be sitting right around there as well. So I think you're going to have close to almost a 3-way tie kind of at the end. It's going to come down to those last few weeks. And I think it's going to end up coming down to who's winning the in-division games. So I know the Ravens haven't even played the Bengals or the Steelers yet. So that's 4 games left on their schedule where, someone can really take a huge advantage by, pulling off two W's. So I think that the Steelers are the most talented team of the bunch.
Him so much.
And that's coming from a Ravens fan. So I'd probably take them right now. I'm not high on the Bengals. I don't see it this year. I've never believed in Andy Dalton. They can't win a playoff game. It's sad to watch. But I'd probably say the Steelers are the favorite right now, personally.
You mentioned that the Ravens haven't played the Steelers or Bengals yet. I was going to go off that and say that I don't think they win more than 2 of those games, max. I think they go 1-3, maybe even winless. But I think the Steelers are definitely the most talented team. Their defense still isn't what it used to be, but since he's always a dark horse, and it seems like they're just 10-6 every year, so I think they'll get in the playoffs. I think both the Steelers and Cincinnati get in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think this is just testament to how AFC North being interesting.
Get in from the AFC North. I'm only taking one AFC team from the North because it's just going to be such a close wild card race. With
Yeah.
Buffalo, the 3 teams from the AFC West could get in right now. So whoever wins the division, I think, will be the only team in the AFC North.
Yeah, I can see that.
I actually think all 4 teams from the AFC West could make it. The Chargers, I know it's been a popular opinion, but I had this before it became a popular opinion. The Chargers are the best bad team in the NFL.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
they
agree.
lost the 2 they could have won, so they could be 4-2 right now.
And now we're going to jump into the NBA. First thing we're going to talk about, Cavs Knicks opening night. Nick, what are you first expecting from the Cavs coming off championship year? And also, what are you expecting from the new super team in the New York Knicks?
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, first off, I'm expecting Cavs just come out with a new focus this year. Really, just trying to prove that they did deserve this the championship. They did deserve that win, and it wasn't just a fluke that the Warriors did lose after going up 3-1. But in terms of the opener, I'm thinking that they're going to come out, again with a new focus. I think the Knicks, though, also have something to prove because Derrick Rose, he's getting back from the rape allegations, so I think that they both have, and it always seems like it's tough. It always seems like it's a tough matchup because the Knicks winning the opener, what was it, like 2 years ago, I think, when LeBron first came back. So I'm just thinking that it's going to be the Cavs winning against the Knicks. I'm sorry, but the Cavs are going to get that with a new focus. LeBron, I think, is going to go for the MVP this year. He's alluded to wanting to chase Jordan's legacy. I'm just thinking the Cavs are going to come up with a new focus opening night at the Q. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about the Cavs. I'm not sure how focused they have been in the offseason. They've been enjoying the championship like they probably should be enjoying the championship. I'm also going to be interested to see how our point guard situation plays out, not only in the opener,
point guard for sure.
but also throughout the whole
Kay
year.
Felder could have concussion, so
Yeah,
gonna be
and
interesting to
also
watch.
the trade discussions with Iman Shumpert, a former Knick. How's that going to play out? Are we getting Ricky Rubio? Don't really know how well he's going to fit in. Also, I'm excited to see the new look Knicks, guys like Brandon Jennings, Joakim Noah.
Yeah.
Probably not, maybe Derrick Rose. I'm not too sure what his whole situation is. But especially Kristaps Porzingis, my favorite player in the NBA, even though I'm a Cavs fan. Really excited to see how a player who is supposed to be too tall for the NBA.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But again, your point about the partying too hard or enjoying the championship a little bit too hard in the summer, I believe the Warriors did that after they won and they came back and became the most winningest regular season team ever. So I'm thinking that the Cavs, again, have that same drive that the Warriors have. And barring injury, it's going to be a rematch in the finals. But what do you guys think about the opener, Cavs versus Knicks? I know you have some strong opinions.
I agree with you that I think the Cavs will win, but the other side, the Knicks fan in me, would kind of agree that the Cavs might have been not too focused in the season with JR not being re-signed and
that's a good point.
Running off with Khloe Kardashian or whatever. So I think the Cavs will get back to being the elite they are. I think they'll be lights out in regular season as a whole. With all the buzz around the Knicks and all the energy they bring, I think maybe they do the first game. I wouldn't count on it, but that's kind of what the Knicks will be banking on. It's a slow start for the Cavs when they get back to Cleveland.
I'm a Cavs fan too. I watch them closely, but I've seen us drop the first game, so I'm not going to be surprised if the Knicks find a way to squeak this one out like they did a few years ago.
Makes sense.
Cavs focus. Not because it's just partying, but because they didn't have JR signed until a few weeks ago. I definitely could see them, losing this game. And I'm excited to see how Porzingis plays in his second year for sure.
All right, I don't know about you guys here. I'm not about the Knicks. I'm not about this whole super team nonsense. I don't see it. Rose is going to get hurt. Noah's going to get hurt. Jennings is a below-average NBA player. I don't get the buzz about him. You have Porzingis who's up and coming. You have Melo who's going to do Melo. I don't even know if they're a playoff team.
Okay.
I think they're like 8-7 top. I definitely don't see them coming up against the Cavs. I think even though the Cavs haven't looked all that good in preseason, it's preseason. They have Irving, Love, LeBron.
Yeah, they're just resting
forward this year, and I think LeBron's just going to come in. They're going to win the game. I don't even give the Knicks a chance. I don't see it. I just don't.
I still think the Cavs are going to go on to win and be the number 1 seed going into the playoffs in the East. So. But I just think that has to do a lot with, I just don't think the East is that high on talent. I like the Celtics, but I just don't see anyone knocking Cleveland off. I still see them being the 1 seed going into the playoffs.
Everyone hating on my Eastern Conference, better than the Western Conference, but that'll be a topic for another day. We'll stay out of that debate for this episode. I do see the Knicks as a fringe playoff team. Think they barely make it, round 7 seed. I do see them being... and also, our awesome cameraman, Aiden, just showed me that Kay Felder is ruled out with a concussion, and Iman Shumpert is officially named the backup point guard.
Hey, but LeBron is
game.
the point guard. He can be the backup point guard at all times. For one game at least, it's going to be a LeBron show, I feel like. He's going to want to come up against the Knicks and show out, so especially for opening night ring ceremony.
Well, we talked about their 2 teams, the Cavs and Knicks. Now
Yeah.
let's talk about John's team, the Boston Celtics. And we actually had a YouTuber on the show, Enviers. Not sure if you guys know who he is, but he was actually roasting Celtics fans throughout the offseason. I heard the Celtics are trading for DeMarcus Cousins and Jimmy Butler this year.
Yeah, I think they're getting Kevin Durant too as well. I think the Warriors are going to give him up.
Tom Brady was going to get them
Kevin
Durant too.
Yeah, for a first round pick. So it's actually going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know about all that nonsense. I didn't think we ever had a real shot at Kevin Durant. Going through the whole offseason, I thought that the number 1 target should have and always should have been Al Horford because we needed the rim protector. We signed him. We got Horford. That was the big piece we were missing last season. So I think defensively, with Bradley, with Crowder, now with Horford, I think we're looking even stronger than we were last year, and we were one of the top defenses last year. And I think Horford brings an element to the Celtics that was just the main piece we were missing. Of the outside shooters, we needed the interior presence. And Al Horford's one of my favorite guys in the NBA. He was great with the Hawks. So I think we're going to do better than last year because of that.
So you're telling me that the number 1 priority should not have been Kevin Durant, instead Al Horford?
No, I'm saying...
No, please explain to me, John.
Shot at KD. I didn't think we had a shot at it.
You didn't think you had a shot, so okay. So.
Fair enough. But,
That's fair.
But I have another criticism. How well do you think Al Horford's going to protect the rim for you guys? I don't know.
I like Al Horford. I like Al Horford.
I like Al Horford, but I don't really love him as a shot blocker.
No, I like that. I mean, he doesn't have to be the centerpiece. I like the defensive-minded team that they have. I think that's a good pickup. I agree with John on that. I mean, John, do you want to talk to my co-host here?
Think about who else we were running at the position line. We have Tyler Zeller. He's not going to do anything for him. Kelly Olynyk's a 0 on defense. I mean, bringing in anything really is going to be a plus. I mean, even though Al Horford isn't your pristine shot blocker, I mean, he's been a solid defensive player his entire career. He's great passing on the interior. He has a great mid-range, can stretch it out to the 3, which I know Boston loves. We love having all of our players being able to shoot the 3. And when you get, I think we'll get a bigger production from Marcus Smart off the bench this year. He's a guy who can take a step forward. I just think the main missing piece for us was a center who can be productive, not necessarily star, but be productive on both sides of the floor. And Al Horford can do that, I think, more than most. So I think that's why he's such a big addition.
They were already a top 3 defensive team in the NBA. Adding Al Horford won't hurt. It'll actually help a lot. So I like that. I like that pickup. He was definitely what they were targeting in the offseason if they could not get Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I like Al Horford offensively. He's able to move the ball around really well, able to stretch the floor. That'll be a great acquisition. Don't know how great his defense is going to be or how much of a step up he really is from the rest, but I do think he is going to provide a major role for the Celtics offensively, and it was a good pickup by them. Now I'm going to get kind of a new debate sparked, something that I've been hearing a lot about. We haven't talked about this on the show yet. Nick, I'm going to ask you first. Do you think Draymond Green is one of the most important players to the Warriors' success out of any team in the NBA, one of the most important players to his team's success? Or do you think he's a cancer to the locker room and is going to cause problems?
No, I just think this is the outside perspective, being so mad at Draymond Green for having all of his views and everything, and how he's actually an integral part of their success. I think that he drives that team. Without them, I don't think that they really have a heart or soul right now. They have 3 passive players, in my opinion: Steph Curry, Clay, and Durant. I don't think either of those 3 are alpha males. or alpha dogs. I think Draymond is the perfect piece that brings that together. He's also a front court stud. He can run the floor. He can push the ball. He's a playmaker. I think that's actually just like a perfect part. It hurts me to say that because I am a Cavs fan, but I think all of his antics are similar with what Joakim Noah did in Bulls when they were doing really well, or even back in Florida with Noah. Just they winning back-to-back championships. I think he just brings that like aspect, that edge that the Warriors need and they can really use.
Yeah, so you're taking the perspective that Nick Wright has, a former Syracuse student. By the way, he says that Draymond Green is the second most important player in the league to his team's success, behind LeBron James. Are you guys a fan? Do you guys think Draymond Green is very important? I know you're not as extreme about that.
I don't think he's second most.
But
I wouldn't say he's second most.
You say he's very important to the Warriors' success?
He's not. If you took Draymond out, they would still be the top number one team in the Golden State. If you took LeBron off the Cavs, they'd be like, I think they would be
competing
like 6th seed. Yeah, they'd
in
be
the
like
East,
a 6th, 5th seed.
What do you guys think about Draymond, his fit with the Warriors?
Personally, I'm a fan of Draymond. I'm not worried about him. I think every locker room needs someone like him. I mean, he did hurt his team in the championship. There's no denying that. But I still think every team needs an alpha male, and I don't see that in the other 3 stars on that team. I would be more worried about Klay Thompson fitting in with Durant and Curry right now than I would be worried about Draymond Green.
I think Klay's stats are going to take a hurting. I don't think that he'll seamlessly fit in. He'll just be a spot-up shooter and a great defender. Yeah.
I think that's what he'll turn into too, spot-up shooting.
Yeah.
I was a big Draymond fan before he kind of blew up. I love the way he played at Michigan State with that fire and intensity. And I think he has become a distraction, and that's, I think, kind of his being back in the spotlight. He was always the star at Michigan State, and then he was just a nothing guy or role player before he blew up. But I will say the Warriors, they need him in the court. Festus, Gilly, Bowman, all those guys, they're not going to do anything underneath. So, Festus, I see the shout out to They're both gone. They're both gone. So I think he's big because without his height, he can still play center. But yeah, if you took him out, they're still a great team. But he gives that fire, that energy, similar to what I saw in Kevin Garnett's younger years.
Yeah, fair.
I kind of agree with everything you said on Draymond. I don't like the guy personally. I think having a guy like that in your locker room can cause a lot of issues, and it kind of puts me off. But at the same time, I agree that Kevin Durant's not a guy who's going to be the alpha dog and lead that team. Curry seems to kind of be really laid back, and Klay as well. Klay's kind of more vocal than the two of them, but I think Draymond's kind of the big vocal presence. I mean, he's great. People forget that he's one of the top 3 defensive players in the league. I think having that on a team with all these other great players is huge. He can guard 3 through 5. So I don't necessarily like the guy, but I think he's very important to their success.
Yeah, I think he's also like being a personal basketball player. Like I don't think in the locker room, I feel like they feed off of him. I feel like having that guy that's so controversial, you're gonna gather behind him, and he'll hold players accountable. So if you're not into that, then I think he'll hold. If you're not doing well, he'll hold you accountable. And I think people just really gather around him in the locker room, but everyone else just doesn't like him.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Draymond was a big reason why KD came to Golden State.
Yeah,
he's basically Kevin Trigger for Kevin Durant. I mean, he called him 15 times a day.
Yeah.
And he's the guy that people enjoy playing with because he doesn't care about stats. He doesn't care about scoring points. All he cares about is getting a win and playing with emotion. So that's what I like. I don't like the antics, but you're going to get some guys to play that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I also really like Draymond Green at Michigan State. Thought he was good value for a second-round pick. Don't really like him as much now. I think his passion for the game that he had at Michigan State and energy has kind of turned into like a little bit different now, like with all the kicking and stuff and that nonsense. But anything you guys want to talk about as we wrap it up before we go?
Yeah, who's your pick for the MVP this season? NBA MVP.
Yeah, we've been debating. It's kind of a mess of a race this year.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking it's LeBron. I think he wants to go after Jordan's legacy so much. He has the ring in Cleveland. That's what he was prioritizing. Now he's going to go for stats. Now he's going to try to take over and really just try to pad his stats. He's not a dumb guy. He knows what he has to do to take over Jordan. He loves the game. He's the historian of the game. He knows what he has to do, and he knows that this year is critical for the MVP. Mike, what do you think?
I got two guys. I think it's either going to be Westbrook or Damian Lillard. I really liked Lillard last year. I thought he should have been the second place in the MVP race last year behind Steph Curry. I thought he was so important to the Trailblazers' success, and I think that he was the second most valuable player to his team's success in the NBA. So I think it's going to be Westbrook or Damian Lillard. What do you guys think?
I got two guys as well. One's my actual pick, one's my dark horse. My actual pick is Russell Westbrook. This is his team. He's got the big men inside. He can just pick up. He doesn't have to worry about egos or anything like that. So he's going to have him here numbers-wise, as he always does. And then my dark horse is going to be Kawhi Leonard. With Duncan retiring, I think Kawhi's defensive is already known, but he's going to get the ball a lot more. Him and Aldridge are going to feed off each other. And I think Kawhi Leonard is going to have a big year as well.
I don't even think it's about a dark horse. I think he's straight up the favorite, Kawhi Leonard. I think 100%. I think now that Duncan's gone, he's the face. He's the face of the franchise. He's taken steps forward every season. He's a very efficient shooter. He's the best defensive player in the NBA. I think they're going to end up being the 2 seed in the West. 100% behind Kawhi Leonard as MVP. I think the Warriors, Curry and Durant, are going to kind of like bring each other down. But Kawhi's my guy.
John, can I share a stat with you real quick?
Yeah, sure.
He broke his career points last year. Do you want to know what that was? 32 points, one game. He broke that last year. He's the favorite, though.
20 points a game.
What? He's going to what?
Points a game. I think this year he takes it up to maybe 22. But how far behind is he going to be from like the Warriors guys who are all, they have to spread the points around. Durant and Curry are both going to be.
Oh, yeah, I don't think any of them are going to win the MVP.
Right. He's not going to be your highest scorer, but you have to factor in he's the best defensive player in basketball.
Yeah, he'll win maybe he'll win the defensive player again.
He might for three-peat.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson had more points in one
I
quarter.
actually have another dark horse.
And Kawhi's career high. My dark horse, a real dark horse, Giannis.
Okay, that's not okay. Yeah, I guess
That's a real.
I have another dark horse.
Who?
Derrick Rose from the New York Knicks with the super team.
Like you're stuck in 2000.
I don't think LeBron's going to play enough minutes to get it.
Yeah.
So I won't take
That's a good point. That's the only turn.
I can't take Westbrook just because I don't know how good their team's going to be. So I love that you mentioned Lillard. I picked Lillard a week ago, and Steve Kerr came out.
Yeah, that's why co-host over here
he
picked up
Damian Lillard, and I said it before Steve Kerr, so I was excited when I heard Steve Kerr said it. I think he's, the way he played last year after losing Aldridge, Lopez, Batum, he took that team to the playoffs and won a series. I expect him to win the MVP this year.
Yeah, he's the prototypical NBA MVP point guard. He scores a lot. I don't know. I'm liking that pick too.
I think he was so underappreciated last year. He only got like 12 total point votes. I think that was ridiculous. I would have voted him second. No, we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, let's get to that. So we've had some big debates on season tickets. Many people we just asked many people this question. What conference, were you projecting for next year, or this year, actually, rather?
This NBA year.
Yeah, this NBA year. What conference do you guys think is better, East or West? You guys can start it off.
I don't think this is close. I think it's the West.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fight to get in the playoffs for the West every year. It seems like the Nuggets, like in that 8, 9, 10 range, they're very good teams. Where in the East you see guys getting in at 38 and 42 or a record like that. So it's got to be the West. Even with all the free agent additions.
I think it's just talent, yeah. All right. You want to go? Hey, yeah.
I'm excited for the East this year. You have the Wade in Chicago. I still think Miami's going to be all right. I'm taking Whiteside to win Defensive Player of the Year. But if KD would have came to the Celtics, I think you have an argument for the East. I still have to go West. I think it's closer this year than it has been in years past. But I still think the West is who you want to go see.
I'm right with the West as well. I think the East has some teams that are going to improve. I like the Bucks improving a little bit this year, and the Heat are going to kind of drop down. I don't know. I think the West still has the teams like the Grizzlies and the Clippers that they're going to be in the 5, 6, 4 range in the West. But if they lose, they'd be right there at number 2.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of shows the difference between the two conferences.
Yes.
The Grizzlies at number 2 in the East.
I mean, win healthy.
The
Celtics,
the Raptors, and the Pacers are all way better than the
Clippers,
Grizzlies.
San Antonio, and Warriors are all better than. No one can compete with. It shows LeBron can carry a team through the East, rampage it. If you put LeBron on the team that they had with the Cavs, especially with Love playing bad his first year, and then injuries with Love and Kyrie in the playoffs, and he still took them to the finals. If you put him in the West, he would not make it out.
We're not talking about 2014.
That would still happen this year.
I don't think so. I think that the East, from top to bottom, is better than the Western Conference. You mentioned the playoff seeds. Even last year, the 9 seed in the East had a better record than the 7 seed in the West.
Those are all mid-level teams, like I've said
know.
before. But you have the top talent in the West. That really determines conferences, and that determines NBA. But we've all talked about this before. We got these guys' opinions, and I think that's just what really matters.
I don't think it's crazy to say the East. I don't think it's as absurd as it would be in years past, but I still give the West a slight edge in the end. Definitely.
I've taken some major L's.
I think you're just trying to be too progressive in your approach with the East.
Where's the love for the Grizzlies, man? Where's the love?
You got the Vanderbilt sweatshirt on. You're just going for the Skip Bayless takes.
Yeah, really though.
No, I am not Skip Bayless. I'm a Vanderbilt.
No, the Grizzlies though, with Marc Gasol healthy. I mean, Mike Conley, come on.
Mike Conley's healthy this year. Marc Gasol is healthy this year.
Yeah.
Chandler Parsons is going to be healthy this year.
Defensive-minded team, I like those.
Great team across the board.
Yeah.
It's a great
team.
A great team.
Toronto, you got 2 guards that can't shoot, and those are supposed to be your guy. And those are supposed to be your 2 pillars of your organization. Celtics, I mean, they're solid. Still wouldn't beat San Antonio, Golden State, or Clippers, I'd argue. And then I don't know. I just don't think you have much legs to stand on in the East. We've heard our opinions though, and I think it's time to wrap it up. Really.
Yeah, that will wrap it up for
really
this
good.
episode.
Thanks, guys.
Of FHS Season Tickets. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you.
Yeah,
really good.
100%. Thank you guys for coming on the show, providing some more opinions about the great debates we've been having, and also some new topics we've been talking about. So thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.